Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now the first thing you're going to see obviously is there a complete lack of face cam on this video. Again, my phone has broken, so I think it's a sign that I need to get a new one. And for those of you that don't know, I actually use my phone to record all of my face cams for my YouTube video. So today you're just going to have to go without. But to make up for it, I have a really value-packed video. And in this video, I'm going to specifically show you how you can use AI and more specifically Midjourney to create KDP coloring books completely from scratch. It's not only going to save you loads of time, it's also going to save you a load of money too. And they have really professional looking outputs here too. So I've seen a lot of KDP tutorials of how to use Midjourney and they're quite long and they're kind of long-winded. So I'm going to try and keep this as efficient as possible and make it under 10 minutes so you can go through and know exactly what you need to do really, really easily. So with that in mind, we're going to jump straight into it. So in terms of downloading Midjourney, all you need to do is go to midjourney.com and then just go down to this button here where it says join the beta. Midjourney actually is hosted in Discord, so you might need to download the Discord app already. But I'm not going to press this button because I've already downloaded it, so my prompt will be different to yours. Just press this button. It will say, here's your invite to the Discord. Press accept invitation and you'll be into the Midjourney Discord. Now, before we go into actually understanding exactly how the Discord server works, the first thing you need to do is also purchase a subscription. Midjourney can be free, but it's really important to know that you can't actually have any commercial use if you're using the free trial of Midjourney. And if you're using this for KDP purposes, I'm going to assume you want to sell the book, so the actual interior that you're making in Midjourney you want to sell. So you are going to have some sort of plan. The basic plan is absolutely fine. It's only going to cost you $10, which if you compare that to the cost of A, your time in making a coloring book from scratch, or B, outsourcing it to a freelancer, $10 is absolutely nothing. So I personally use the basic plan and I would recommend you do the same. So once you're in Midjourney and you subscribe, you will have your very own channel here that you can use. The first thing I suggest doing is making sure your settings are all up to date. Just press /settings here. And what you want is the MJ version and just the highest number, because this basically means Midjourney version 5.1. The latest version is generally going to always be the best. Keep style on medium. Public mode is probably the one you want to go for. You can pay extra for private mode, but in my opinion, it's just not really worth it. And then remix mode is entirely up to you. This basically means you can add prompts to your images if you want to kind of add even more instructions to it. So I'm going to keep that on. It doesn't really matter too much if you have it on or off, but I'll show you later on in this video exactly what remix mode does. So generally just make sure your settings are set up like this. And then in terms of making your first ever coloring page, it's entirely up to you what sort of page you want. But what I have found to be really useful is looking on Midjourney prompts online. There are so many really good prompts to find really professional looking images, and you can just copy and paste these into your Midjourney. So again, you can come up with your very own description of kind of what you want, or you can look at these and take inspiration. So I really liked this one here. So let's pretend for this example, we're going to make an elephant coloring book for kids. This is a really cool prompt, cartoon illustration coloring book page, happy elephant, nature, black, white, clean. So I'm just going to press copy on this. I'm going to look to recreate this image in Midjourney. So once you're back in Midjourney, all you need to do is press the slash button and then just press imagine and then put in your prompt. So this is where you'd put something like adult coloring, animal, whatever. But we're going to use our prompt that we found. And again, I would recommend using prompts. Obviously make slight changes to them because you don't want to just be producing exactly the same book or interior as somebody else, but take kind of inspiration from them and add or take away things that you want. So for example, you might get rid of nature here, and you might just keep black and white. But for this example, we're just going to keep nature in there just to show you kind of what it would look like. So once you've done that, just press enter. And what it's going to do, it's going to say waiting to start. It can take a little bit of time for Midjourney to generate these images because obviously it's creating completely new images entirely from scratch. So once this is loaded, I'll come back to you and talk you through exactly what you need to do next. So I'm back and this took about 30 seconds to load. And you can see there's 4 different options for our image that we want to use. These numbers down here, basically every single image is assigned a number. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and this is number 4. Any U just means upscale, so make a larger version of. And then V just basically means focus on that specific version or make 4 different images based on this kind of style. For me here personally, if I'm making a kid's coloring book, none of these designs are kind of as simple as we would want. So you're going to have to be a little bit patient. I'm just going to press regenerate. And what that's going to do is come up with 4 completely new images. And this goes back to where we had that remix setting on. If you don't have remix setting, it will basically just create it with the same prompt. But because we have remix on, we can make some additions if we want to. So let's just go, let's get rid of nature and let's go for forest in there and just press submit. So we're going to have a slightly different prop now. So hopefully your elephant is going to be in the forest. Again, this one is already kind of in nature, so it's probably going to look relatively similar, but that's just an example of what the remix setting does. So after a little bit of trial and error, these are the 4 images that we've been shown, and I actually really like the look of this one. It's a kind of different style, and you can see the edges here. It's something you can see children colouring in, and it's obviously a cool looking elephant, so I like that first version. So what I'm going to do here is then just press V1 and give me 4 different variations of this first illustration and see what comes up once you do that. So now that has loaded in, and you can see these are all very similar, but they do have slight differences. And the one that jumps out to me that I'm going to want to use in this colouring book is this bottom right one here. Again, it depends on what kind of age you're targeting this colouring book for. This is just an example. This may be slightly older kids or maybe young adults, but we're going to go for this one here. And let's just say we want us to use this in our book. I would then just press U4, which basically means upscale 4. So it's going to make a bigger version of this image. And that's the image that we're going to actually go ahead and put into our file. So once you've done that, you can see it's an enlarged image here. Just click into it and you have 2 options. You can either basically use some sort of screen capture. So on Mac, you can just capture the screen here, find the image that you want and just put it around the edge and then just capture it that way. Or alternatively, you could just press this web button, which is going to upload it to your Midjourney file on the website. It's entirely up to you. I would generally just take a screenshot here, and then you can kind of enlarge it as you want in your Canva file. So all you would need to do is then go through and just repeat this process over and over again and create loads of different coloring pages. I would generally recommend, if you're making a coloring book on KDP, have at least 50 images in there. You can always fill the other side of the page with something like facts or just something to fill up the book to prevent bleed through also. So that's as simple as it can be to make an interior for your coloring book using Midjourney. And before I finish this video, I'm just going to show you how you can find really cool ideas for your book front cover too. So front covers are very, very similar. I've gone through and made an example here. All I've gone is said imagine and then the prompt, and I've just said cartoon elephant in the wild and then aspect ratio 4:7, because obviously one thing I hadn't mentioned previously is you might want to make these the right aspect ratio for your book. So for an A4 book, you want the aspect ratio 4:7. So just add this onto the end of any prompt you have. And you can see here we have 4 different options for our front cover. I really like this one in the bottom left, so number 3. Just going to press upscale 3. And that's going to give us a much larger version of this elephant for our front cover for our elephant cartoon coloring book. And again, as you can see, this has generated us an upscaled image. We can then again take the photo here if we want to, just doing this. Or we can save it to the web. It's entirely up to you what you want to do by pressing this. And then all you do is go into Canva, put this into your Canva file and just put some text over the top that says elephant coloring book for kids or whatever kind of book you're making. So that is a really simple tutorial of how to use Midjourney to not only create coloring book interiors, but also create coloring book front covers. If you did enjoy this video, then please do leave a like and also subscribe for more KDP content, and I will see you in the next one.